So, my walkaway moment revisited, coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense, Logic, and Reason. And as always, thank y'all for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it. So we know that the Walkaway campaign has been going on for something like, I believe it's 3 years or so, maybe 3 or 4 years. And it was, it's just huge. You saw, a year ago, 2 years ago, you saw a lot of videos uploaded all the times of people giving their story of walking away from the Democratic plantation, the Democratic Party. It's pretty much died down a good bit because you don't see that many videos uploaded. But again, the campaign still exists because those people have still walking away from the Democratic plantation. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to talk about my walkaway moment, and because I made a video about this early on in my channel. Like, one of the first few videos I made was of me walking away from the Democratic plantation, and I called it about me. But anyway, back in 2002, I started working for a parking garage overnight as a second job, and it was a pretty much a laid back job. There really wasn't much to do. Everything I did was done within like the first 20 to 30 minutes, and it was just laid back from that point on. So I would do a lot of activities like listen to the radio, do homework, something like that. Just something to occupy the time. And around this time, the second Gulf War basically kicked off and started. And the conservative news station in our town, I didn't even know existed, really, truly didn't know existed. I thought if this station used to be a classic rock station, back in the day that I can remember. And I always thought of it as some classic rock. Well, the format changed to conservative talk sometime. I have no idea when, but I know it's a conservative station still today. And this was the only station that was giving 24-hour updates of the war. And I would listen to it every night, all night, and they would just continually give you update about the progress that was being made, where the soldiers have progressed to, how far they made, how far they've invaded into Iraq. So I would listen to the station the whole time, all night. And eventually the war stopped, and they went back to regular programming overnight, which was basically, shows that they played throughout the day, such as Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and the likes, and other shows. But I basically would listen to it, and I kept listening to it. And I was listening to these conservative talk show hosts like Rush Limbaugh. And I had heard of Rush Limbaugh before. I had never actually listened to him, but what I was told about Rush Limbaugh was he was this racist white man who believed that everything the Republicans do is right, everything the Democrats do is wrong. But I had never actually heard him listen to his show, and I did, as well as all the other people in the shows that were broadcast over the night. And they would just make these common sense points after point after point. Just point after point after point that makes sense. And as a person that operates based upon common sense, logic, and reason, anybody that operates based upon common sense, logic, and reason, that's going to resonate with you. And after about maybe a month or so of listening to these stations, I then consider myself a conservative. But the thing is, though, I always was a conservative. I just didn't know. And that seems to be a theme with a lot of black converts, is that when we walk away from the Democratic plantation, we realize that we always were conservatives. We just didn't know it. And I would listen to these people make point after point after point that just makes sense. Perfect example would be with taxation, right? Now, Economics 101 says that, and if you do your research, you'll find it to be true, that if you raise taxes, you're going to hurt the economy. If you lower taxes, you're going to help the economy. The economy is going to get better, because businesses are the engine that drives any economy. It's driven by business, and money is a fuel that the engine run on. So if you give the businesses more money, or if you give more fuel to that engine, well, the engine is going to be able to drive further. The more gas you put in your car, if you fill up your car is going to drive a lot further than if the tank is at half. If your tank is empty or on half, you're gonna drive a lot further if your tank is full. And that's what taxation. I mean, reducing the taxes equals to. When you reduce taxes on the rich people, you give them more money, who in turn take that money and not put it into lock boxes somewhere, overseas lock boxes, that nonsense. They take the money and they reinvest it back in themselves, such as maybe they can hire a couple extra people or give raises to current employees or such, give them better benefits, invest in equipment that they may have needed. But either way, let's say that a company, if we reduce taxes and a company hire a couple extra people, well, these are two people who are working, two people who are earning salaries. So they're much more likely to go out and spend into the economy, which improves the economy, right? Which means that they're paying sales taxes, which gives more money to the government. Again, and they're also paying income taxes and all the fees and what goes along with income taxes, both with the employer and the employee. But let's say that somebody gets hired or they get a raise. As a result of getting a nice raise, they can afford to take their family out to eat maybe a couple of nights a week. So they do that. Well, who benefits? The restaurants benefit. If a bunch of people do that, well, restaurants are making more money, which means they may have to hire a couple extra people. And then you repeat the same process. A person who's paying income taxes, who's paying sales taxes, who's making money, who's spending money out there in the economy, right? And then since these restaurants are making more money or having more service, they have to buy more from vendors, more things from vendors, and then the vendors benefit. And basically, tax cuts just have a domino effect all throughout the economy, and everybody benefits. And the net result is that the government actually gets more tax revenue back when they cut taxes than when they raise taxes. So then, why ever raise taxes? And who is always talking about raising taxes on the rich people? Well, it's the Democrats. And of course, when you raise taxes, it has the complete opposite effect. So why with that knowledge, why would anybody in their right mind support raising taxes on the rich people? It makes absolutely no sense. And again, that's just a common theme with the left. Makes no sense. And that was when I walked away, and I walked away back in 2003, 2004, whatever the war effort was going on, and it stopped around that time. That was my walkaway moment. So walkaway is nothing new for me because I've been walked away for years now, and just glad to see that more other black people are walking away, because I know when I've seen a lot of these videos, seem like half of them were black people. So that means that a lot of black people are waking up to the truth, learning the truth of the history of the Democratic Party. But the Democrats were mostly against us, that there was no switch of the party, that nonsense. People are starting to learn. But anyway, y'all, this is my walkaway moment, and thank y'all for watching.